Tuesday, August 20th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. Good morning, almost 10:10 California time. And I start out with the stock market indexes, go to the futures markets, and sometimes other topics, which will be the October lows coming up very soon, and maybe some cycle stuff. So the rally we have had so far in the indexes has certainly been more than I expected originally, despite the fact that we did get a buy signal on August 8th, ER signals, green, bullish engulfing, custom oversold, custom candlestick. Worked very, very well, better than I expected and hoped for, but there it is. Now, we are extremely close to overbought, which would be 75 in my case, and custom RSI. So we're getting closer. That's best I can say. Closer and closer to this significant turn down, because now some people are going to be starting to call this a possible double top, especially if we can push up a little bit more and actually get overbought, turning yellow. And that would be a fantastic setup for a bearish engulfing sell signal like we had one in there, but not quite. Nevertheless, great trade. Our stop is way up here now, a little bit above yesterday's lows. And I'm so happy the system did what it's doing. We're not out yet. Great. Detail on the same trade. Bought it late in the day on the 8th, and a little trouble for the next day, not too much. And then it basically took off consistently, and that's our trailing STS. It's not the usual. It's moved by different features that are not completely the price movement, but of course to some degree. And great. Okay. Spider did get overbought. We did get above 75 on my custom ERRSI, and this is now a prime target for a bearish engulfing red tail signal like that one and that one and that one, that one, so on. I should have it local. There we go. And that was August 2nd on the downside breakout, and it fulfilled its objective Monday. Done. Amazing. Literally in 2 days. So, and that's not all that tiny a formation. It was about 2 months, month and a half in size, small to medium. Now overbought again. If you get below yesterday's lows today on these indexes, we probably have a significant turn. And we'll turn red on this symbol SPY. Next, the spider short term needs to get below that horizontal line, which is not necessarily because it's not yesterday's low, but that gives you a more detailed look, to say the least. No trade on at the moment. We have a very, very close call sell signal on the high of the market, but we didn't quite make a new high, so it's not a bearish engulfing. Unfortunately, nothing on the bottom either. But look, we've gotten almost to 75 in the RSI, and the rally high was right in the ballpark where it has had trouble before, meaning resistance. Not quite what I was looking for because of previous gap to potentially close. But what can I say? Soon, very soon, here is the QQQ 5-minute. Now, the NASDAQ, we did get a sell signal ER on the very high day, July 11th, also on the YM. So this high was perfect. And we got a buy signal, which we are still involved in, on August 8th as well. So we picked the top of the market to the exact day, and very close to the bottom, we got the day that the rally really started in earnest, put it that way. Not quite overbought, super close, definite territory to be watching for reasons to go short and or get out of long positions. Getting close. Here's the same thing on a 5-minute basis, and our trailing STS has crept up a little bit more today, which is great, locking in a larger profit. The green straight line on the upside, trending higher, is from the entry price and time, date and time, to the current quote. So it's doing great and very close to getting stopped out. It may get stopped out today. Looks like it's very possible. but it hasn't so far. Now the YM Dow, we caught the high day. We caught almost the bottom day. We got a secondary buy signal on the way up, no less. And those signals have been working fantastically. And we have come relatively close to overbought, but not quite. But looky, we're at a trend line that the market seems to be having some trouble at. It's yesterday's high almost exact, closed near the high of the day. And today it is currently lower than where it opened, and it made a new high for the trend through the line, but is not staying above the line, building a possible bear signal, but not yet. Don't jump the gun. Detail, same symbol. Russell Index is having an outside down day, bearish engulfing. It's my favorite candlestick. I use it in my ER strategy, of course. But what's wrong is we didn't get overbought. So it is not turning, the code is not turning the symbol red like we had in the middle of the double top formation, not the highest high, unfortunately, but a buy signal before it took off a few days ago, and that has been doing fine, except the kicker at that time was probably too small. And I remember this detail. What happened was the market had a very sharp rally for a very short period of time during the day, the next day, pulling the stop up a lot. And so that's why we got out the next day on this daily data chart. But when you look at the short-term chart, you can see that's where we bought it, over here. And it rallied really sharply and quickly, yanking the stop up really fast, and bang. So you don't cry over spilt milk. It was a great trade, lasted 24 hours or less, swing trade. Next chart, bonds are making slight new highs. They're not too far from overbought. A candidate for a double top, but not yet. If I was long, I wouldn't be getting out. You have a minor new high. You're real close to the high of the day, and it is getting a little stronger than I was hoping for from an opinion standpoint. So let her go. Let's see what it can do on the upside. I'm not necessarily turning bullish because my general expectation has been and still is that we're going to see some kind of sideways to zigzag down, down until it hits this circle. That is October beginning to end, and a price range. I'm going to lower it just a hair, right above what should be considered a neckline that was broken out of on a convincing basis. Middle of July, tested a little tiny bit too low on July 25th. So these two incidents and that one don't quite match the general description of how it should act, but in overall, major breakout to the upside, retracement, and now are we going to push to new high ground? A classic head and shoulder bottom would say basically yes, but I've got other reasons to believe, but I have no signals. That's the last buy signal, and that did make some money, but we were out a little too quick. Again, too tight, too quick, too sharp a kicker, but not complaining. Now, let's see what happens about this October low and down to retest the neckline, which is going to change the picture to some degree between here and there. Notes, same basic story, except it's not at new highs for the last week or so like bonds are. Okay. Now, crude, heat, and unleaded energies, new low for a few days, giant pennant formation I've been talking about now for a week or two. Rally didn't get past resistance or touch the bear trend line. And now a dip down past the middle of the formation is going to test fairly quickly lows of the last 2 months, but also come at the same time, probably touching a bull trend line. Question mark, is it going to hold or are you going to have a major downside breakout? Well, we're 38 on the RSI, so there's plenty of elbow room to go down more to a 25 or lower. That would mean oversold to me. But if you think about it, by the time you get down to about 70, 70 and a half, you just might be oversold. And that would be a good combination to turn back up. We'll see what happens here. Next, natural gas, still trying to make its way up to resistance a second time, has formed past tense as of yesterday's bullish engulfing. but not oversold, so no buy signal. But I like that price movement style, the candlestick called an engulfing. And it does imply you're supposed to see strength when we do have a new high higher than yesterday's high. I'd like to see it break above 2.3 because that's the neckline. Now, the minimum upside objective I have calculated here is from almost a flat neckline, very, very classically flat. Doesn't happen that often for flat. But the upside objective is up here, 2.733. Symmetry's pretty good, maybe off a day or two, big deal. Formations, the shoulders are almost at the same levels. That's part of the symmetry. That's nice. And I was talking about time frame from shoulder to head and from last shoulder. They're about the same from here to here to here to here. That's good. And we're heading up. Good. We just need to have a classic breakout, pop through the neckline, settle back retracement a little bit, not too much. Don't go below the neckline, and then up and up and up until you get to the objective, with maybe a couple of bump and grinds in the middle. Next chart, heating oil. New low for quite a long time. Since last July. 23? Yeah. So, also almost oversold, and also the beginning of a major support level, which has shown some significant ability to hang on to dips and turn it back up somewhat. But every time it went up, it stopped, got a sell signal on the high of that, close to the high of that, at the, well, almost the exact high of that. So some pretty darn good ones lately. Some decent and not quite so good buy signals. But anyway, I think we're about to hold again, despite the fact that normally if there wasn't support and there wasn't oversold conditions about to happen, I would say that looks pretty bearish. But these other two features, let's see what happens. I hope I get a buy signal, and I hope I do get officially oversold. How low did this get? It got down to, oops, okay, cancel that. It got down to the RSI today, 25.04. That's about as close as you can get to touching 25 or less. So, super close. Yeah, bounce time. Next, gold, silver, platinum, copper, beans, oil, meal, corn, wheat, and cattle and hogs. Overbought. Got through a trend line convincingly today and stayed there so far. Overbought conditions imply it's going to top out. If it closes back below that bullish resistance line, that yellow line right there, then we probably have a turn. It's also a prime candidate for an outside down day, which would definitely turn it red, but that remains to be seen. Still up 8.2 and bouncing around right here for the moment. And that's a little bit higher than where it opened, and it's above the trend line, and it's above at yesterday's high. That's important to watch this very closely. Possible top gold. Silver's rallying to minor new highs for a few weeks. I'm now going to say with a rally high in the RSI today of 74.62, super close again to overbought, that we are super close to turning down, and we're well below the old neckline. We're in a basic bronze area from about here up to, yeah, right about there. So we're in that yellow hypothetical zone now. At where it opened, not gaining any ground since the opening, just thrashed up and down. Not quite overbought. I think it's turning close to a turn down next. Oh, and the minimum downside objective, again, because of the pattern, highly unusual to see a head and shoulder top. The most unusual, weird thing about it is that the last shoulder in both cases was a small head and shoulder top also, which has worked past tense, done and gone, close to overbought. But it looks like it's having a little trouble at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if it turned down any old time. I don't care. All I need to do is start to see new lows below, let's say 926, and then I'd be fairly convinced that we're going to make new lows completely and get to my minimum downside objective a little sooner than I would expect. This could rally a little more and then down. Okay, copper. We had two buy signals recently, period. We're still in the last trade. It is a nice profitable trade for 3 full days now. We made a minor new high for the move. We're close to the high of the day, around yesterday's high. We're not even close to overbought. I like what I see. Oh, I'm sorry. The current quote is now the other. Has come down some. And we do have, I see, an outside down day. That's not good. Sorry about this. I didn't notice it until just now. Bearish engulfing, not overbought. So it's not a sell signal, but looks like we might get stopped out in the next day or two. I don't jump in and change my stop to raise it. I like what I see so far. You have to give markets some elbow room to thrash around a little bit. If you get your stops too close too quick, you're never going to milk a really big trade out. So leave it alone. Beans, oil, and meal. Oversold condition in a lot of grains, a variety of, and upside objective for this rally, 1014, maybe 1036. And there's an outside chance, but at 1104, which would be a very big rally, I don't expect that. But I certainly think within range 1015, maybe 1036. And I think we're on our way, looking pretty good the last day or two. Unfortunately, no specific bullish engulfing buy signal at the bottom. Came pretty close yesterday. Next. New high for a couple of days, soybean oil, got oversold, same kind of story. It's going to go up to 41.80, maybe 42.60. I wouldn't rule out 44.18. I think it's going to, bounce pretty good here. But long term, I can't help it. This does not change the longer term picture. It's most of these grains have made new lows for multiple years. This is quite a long period. Next, wheat did get meal. Sorry, did get oversold a couple of days ago. Touch support, my favorite combination. And there's a little old bull trend line. I'm not sure I give that a lot of credence. These lows are not very far apart, but it bounced. So minor new high. You're between a rock and a hard spot. This bear trend line is to cross the top. That's important. And that one, we sold the exact high of the rally. Turned out to be a minor double top. Turned out to make it to its minimum downside objective. Oh, I'd probably say a week or two ago, maybe here. I don't remember. I've erased the lines showing us. So rally back up, not too much more. Maybe 325 looks really good. And down again. Next, corn. We've had 3 buy signals. Wheat, we got 4 in the last month or two. They sometimes cluster. I keep mentioning that in top and bottom formations. Do we have a bottom? 2 days ago, 2 trading days ago. Maybe, I can't tell yet. I'm still in a support area, which we touched the bottom of, even after making new lows for the trend. I'm sorry to say no buy signal at the lowest low. This is looking pretty more interesting on the bullish side, but it's not changing the long-term trend. We're going to go up to 412, 432, and maybe 448. Now, wheat, 4 of them. We did get almost the lowest low. July 31st, green bullish engulfing, outside up day, blah, 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 ER buy signal. Today, we're coming back up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to draw on the details here yet, but I kind of like this low here on July 16th and a little rally. Then we made lower lows, got oversold again, and a bullish engulfing at the bottom on July 31st. And a little rally, not quite a new high, up pretty close. I think you know what I'm alluding to here. And another dip down that was in the same ballpark price level as that dip on July 16th, a tiny bit lower, but not a new low for the trend and not super close to the previous low, or you'd start to call it a double bottom. Anyway, today we're rallying a little bit. This is looking like the last shoulder low on a head and shoulder bottom, which started on July 16th. If we get more strength here, I'll draw in the lines and the neckline and so on, but the neckline isn't until approximately 572 at the moment. This pattern could develop an upside objective, which would be in the ballpark of this resistance area. So that's it. if it works in the first place, we probably would come back up to, I don't know, 625. Next, I've got cattle, and then we're almost finished. Way new lows and convincingly breaking out of a bull trend line that has worked well for 4 touches. The last one being 2 days ago. The rallies recently have all failed. The last buy signal made a little bit of a rally. Don't have any really great buy signals or sell signals lately in cattle. I think we're going down to at least 170. Hogs, resistance is stopping the rally. Not overbought, neutral in that respect. But the longer term picture looks like it's developing to be very bearish, very bearish. A low here and a nice big rally. One okay sell signal that made some money, close to the top. Then overbought again, and the whole thing breaks down to a new low for the year. Rally failed at resistance, starting to dip down. And if we start to break down even more here, then I would be very much expecting 71.30 and definitely 66 or so. And I'm leaning definitely in that direction. Okay, what's going on with the E-mini? Well, we are dipping a bit, aren't we? That's nice. Okay, what's the detail? Going back to the 1 minute, and we'll leave you in a moment. Detail during my YouTube made minor new lows, bouncing to resistance a little, getting closer to my stop, but that's okay. It's a great trade. Have a great day. Profitable trading to you.